Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and you are tuning in to Nightline. Let's take a look at the top stories. NIISe contract probe MACC to determine Muhyiddin's involvement, says Prime Minister. And students now free to express views, criticize government. Good morning. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC must be given the freedom to investigate and determine the alleged involvement of Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin in the awarding of the National Integrated Immigration System NIISe contract to a company linked to his son-in-law while he was Prime Minister. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said Tan Sri Muhyiddin must not be too hasty in claiming the allegations were malicious, as they would not have come under the spotlight if it weren't true. The Prime Minister added instead the Perikatan Nasional PN chairman should wait for the final report from the authorities. Datuk Sri Anwar pointed out that serious matters such as the NIISe contract probe was important as his administration was committed to combating corruption and abuse of power.
Tujuan kita nak hentikan siapa saja Perdana Menteri, Menteri Kewangan atau Menteri lepas ini, jangan anggap itu tempat untuk dia kayakan anak menantu dia.
The Prime Minister said this to the media after launching the Housewives Social Security Scheme and My Future Jobs Carnival 2023 at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre on Saturday. He was responding to Tan Sri Muhyiddin's statement 2 days ago, denying that he was involved in the awarding of the NIISe project, estimated to cost about 1.2 billion ringgit, to NIISe Corporation Berhad, which was linked to his son-in-law. The Bersatu president had claimed that the allegations published by a news portal on February 8th were malicious and slanderous and deliberately designed to tarnish his and his family's name. He also said that none of his family members has a stake in NIISe Corporation Berhad, either as company directors or shareholders. At a separate event in Selangor, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said students in the country are free to express views or criticisms even to the Prime Minister or the government. He, however, said such criticism must only be done through reasoned discourse. Datuk Sri Anwar said he has conveyed the matter to Higher Education Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin and Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq, and they were receptive, as this was to ensure that the student acquired critical thinking skills in addition to creating a better learning atmosphere.
Sudah buka ruang, terutama Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi, buka ruang supaya universiti itu lebih segar, memberikan pandangan-pandangan, melainkan hal-hal yang mencerca ataupun perkauman atau faham agama yang melampau.
He said this at the Abu Sulaiman International Student Fund mock check presentation ceremony at the International Islamic University Malaysia in Gombak on Saturday. Earlier in his speech, Datuk Sri Anwar said Malaysia's educational institutions should depart from the outmoded manner in which students are restricted from exercising their rights to be critical. He added that schools and universities must allow criticisms based on facts and reasons to nurture creativity and critical minds among students. The government will ensure that there is no dropping out among Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM holders, especially from rural communities, so that they are able to continue their education to a higher level. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said this is because his ministry and its agencies are responsible for developing the socio-economics of rural communities.
Kita perlu pastikan no one is left behind. Jangan ada prasangka bahawa mereka yang dianggap drop out atau tercicir di dalam bidang akademik dan masuk ke bidang TVET tidak ada peluang dalam masa depan. Uni KL telah membuktikan bahawa mereka juga adalah merupakan aset kepada negara dan mampu untuk cemerlang.
Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid said this in his speech at the 19th convocation ceremony of University Kuala Lumpur Uni KL at the World Trade Centre in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday. According to him, a total of 280 UNICAL alumni from 2016 to last year are now working in 24 countries, thus proving that the graduates are recognized worldwide and can contribute to the government's efforts to create a high-income society. He also noted that the marketability of UNICAL graduates in 2022 were expected to reach over 98% this year. This is because the institution offers a variety of TVET-related courses and considering that most markets now require people who are trained in the field. Meanwhile, when met by reporters, Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid said the development allowance for members of parliament MPs will be increased when the country's financial situation improves. The Barisan Nasional BN chairman added he was optimistic that Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar will use his discretion to increase the allowance by the end of this year or next year.
BN memahami kedudukan kewangan negara dan kita tahu bahawa belanjawan yang akan dibentangkan pada 24 Februari ini mempunyai kekangan dari segi untuk menguncupkan perbelanjaan seimbang daripada 5.5% ke 5%.
He also stated that MPs should be patient, although they have the responsibility to take care of their respective constituencies and have many requests in terms of development allocations. As such, he urged all MPs to continue to carry out their duties to the utmost of their abilities, even though their development allowance has been reduced. On February 3rd, Datuk Seri Anwar confirmed that the development allowance for MPs has been reduced to 1.3 million ringgit from 3.8 million ringgit. The move was made to better control the country's finances. However, he said the government would consider extending additional allocations if there were pressing needs in a particular parliamentary constituency. The Higher Education Ministry, MOHE, will wait for the full investigation report from the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, over the alleged inefficiency and leakages with regard to the 157 million ringgit in losses suffered by University Technology Mara UiTM Holdings. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin, hoped the MACC could speed up its probe into the case so that further action can be taken by the ministry.
UiTM Holding, saya memang mengharapkan supaya siasatan oleh SPRM itu dapat disegerakan supaya saya sendiri pun tahu apa yang berlaku.
He told this to the media after officiating the Tasik 64 Community Sewing Centre in Bandar Seri Alam in Johor Bahru on Saturday. On Friday, the MACC said it was investigating the alleged misappropriation of funds and investments made by UiTM Holdings that led to millions of ringgit in losses. It was previously reported that UiTM Holdings had suffered accumulated pre-tax losses of 157 million ringgit for 4 years in 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2021. The government is still maintaining petrol and diesel subsidies for now and has no plans to abolish them in the near future. Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub said so far the government's stance on petrol and diesel subsidies remains unchanged. Datuk Seri Salahuddin said the government was open to accept any view from economists. However, the government was still maintaining the subsidies until a decision to implement targeted subsidies was made. He said this when asked about the expectations of economists regarding the possibility that the unity government will announce the abolition of petrol and diesel subsidies in the tabling of the revised 2023 budget and replacing them with a system of assistance to those in need. On another note, Datuk Seri Salahuddin said his ministry plans to open 5 retail sector digitalisation initiative ready programs in Pulau Pinang, Melaka, Perlis, Sabah and Sarawak. According to him, as of December 31st last year, a total of 8,479 rural traders have switched to the digital medium, and now it has been expanded further in Johor by targeting a total of 233 Kip Mall traders and 120 traders at the Perling public market. Ready, which reduces dependence on cash and benefits consumers and traders, has been successfully implemented on a pilot basis in Putrajaya, Hulu Terengganu, Pangkor Island and Labuan. After more than 6 decades in the fashion industry, internationally acclaimed designer Datuk Jimmy Chew Yang Kiat has done it all. Not just plying his craft from shoes to couture gowns to bridal collection, but also serving as Malaysia's tourism ambassador and opening a London fashion school. After returning to Malaysia following the COVID-19 pandemic, he has set his eyes on tackling new frontiers and challenges, especially in Asia. According to Datuk Chew, the COVID-19 pandemic forced a shift in the fashion industry, with high-end brands embracing e-commerce as customers turn to online shopping for their wants and needs. Although fashion runways have now started making its return, there's no denying that online shopping is here to stay, and he believes there's huge potential in the Asian market, especially with China's reopening of its borders last month.
I changed my business plan. We do online show as well. We do online in the Barcelona, Dubai. I'm not there, but I talk to my vision, my idea and all that. They just film my whole thing when they do the show. They know they can do the TV on the TV channel and all that as well. They're a big market. They're willing to learn. They're willing to accept people as well. So China is a big market. I think another 10 years, 20 years, there'll be a lot of people want to be over there because it's a big country.
Datuk Chew said this during an interview on TV3's flagship business program Money Matters, which aired at 5 p.m. on Saturday. The 74-year-old global icon also shared his views on how brands can stay relevant in the fashion industry by finding innovative ways to adapt to difficult times.
You have to keep them forward. You have to keep them some new idea, so let people know what I'm doing as well. If you just asked me a question before, why you had to move back to Malaysia? I moved back to Malaysia because it's a chance for me to move on different country. If I'm saying in London, I'm in London, just a Europe country. You must learn, you never stop. Once you stop, you're behind, you're backward, you see. You go forward, whatever you think about. Every time I sleep, I do think I think. I think more idea than what I've done think before.
Still to come on Nightline, Turkey detains 12 over collapsed buildings. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has conveyed his condolences to Recep Tayyip Erdogan and offered prayers for victims of the strong earthquake that rocked Turkey last Monday. In a post on his Twitter account on Saturday, Datuk Seri Anwar informed that he had contacted the Turkish president as soon as he arrived from Bangkok, Thailand on Friday following his 2-day official visit to the neighbouring country. He noted that the Malaysian government has sent 2 special Malaysia Disaster Assistance Rescue Team Smart Rescue Teams and was setting up a field hospital in addition to the donation drives carried out by Malaysians to help the victims. In a press conference on Wednesday, the Prime Minister announced that Malaysia will channel over 8.6 million ringgit to Turkey and Syria to aid the victims of the earthquake in both countries. The Malaysian Armed Forces is also arranging the Level 3 deployment of teams and equipment to establish a field hospital in Turkey for a period of 6 weeks to provide humanitarian aid to the earthquake victims in the country. Meanwhile, Turkish police have detained 12 people over collapsed buildings in the southeastern provinces of Gaziantep and Sanliurfa following the huge quake that hit Turkey. According to authorities, those taken into custody included contractors, and more detentions are expected after the public prosecutor in Diyarbakir, one of 10 southeastern provinces affected by the quake, issued arrest warrants for 29 people. In the meantime, the death toll from the catastrophic earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria climbed to more than 25,000 on Saturday as rescuers worked in freezing weather to find people alive. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said so far at least 21,043 people are known to have died in Turkey following Monday's 7.8 magnitude quake, while in Syria the total number of dead stands at 3,513. Currently, teams are rushing to save victims that could still be alive under rubble, with a UN liaison officer warning that both countries are approaching the end of the search and rescue window. Over in Philippines, at least 5 soldiers were killed while another was critically wounded after a soldier ran amok and fired at sleeping soldiers on Saturday inside an army camp in northern Mindanao. According to authorities, the incident occurred at about 1:10 p.m. local time inside Camp Evangelista in Cagayan de Oro City, and the alleged shooter was among the dead. It was reported that after the initial shooting, the gunman attempted to enter another room, but 2 other soldiers wrestled with the attacker, seized his firearm and shot him dead. The 4 victims died at the scene, while the critically wounded soldier is currently undergoing treatment at a local hospital. An investigation into the shooting incident is underway. The U.S. Commerce Department said Friday it has blacklisted 6 Chinese entities for supporting Beijing's military modernization efforts, particularly relating to aerospace programs, including airships and balloons. Companies added to the so-called entity list are restricted from obtaining U.S. items and technologies without government authorization. Some of the companies include Beijing Nanjing Aerospace Technology Co., China Electronics Technology Group Corporation, 48th Research Institute, and Dongguan Linkkong Remote Sensing Technology Co. The move came a day after U.S. lawmakers unanimously denounced China's use of a suspected spy balloon that flew over North America last week. China insists the balloon was a civilian airship that used meteorological purposes, but the U.S. believes the balloon to be under the control of the Chinese People's Liberation Army and is part of a fleet that China has sent over 40 countries on 5 continents to collect information. sports. Football, the Australian A-League. Adelaide United came back from 2 goals down to beat hosts Western United 3-2 in a thrilling match in Melbourne on Saturday. Western United looked comfortable after Noah Botic's first half opener, and a rocket from Alexander Prijovic gave them a 2-goal advantage, and they held well past the hour mark. But Irakunda set up Zach Clough for a goal in the 68th minute before Ryan Keto tapped home the equaliser from close range. Socceroos hero Goodwin scored Adelaide's decisive goal from the penalty spot in the 86th minute after defender Tomoki Imai's needless foul on Ben Halloran. It is the first time this season that Adelaide have won a match after conceding first. The win helped Adelaide on 26 points swap places with Western in the standings, with Adelaide moving a spot up to 3rd while Western fell to 4th spot. Melbourne City are on top with 31 points with 2 games in hand. In another match, Sydney FC won the City Derby after beating 10-man Western Sydney Wanderers 1-0 on Saturday at CommBank Stadium, Sydney. Max Burgess scored the only goal in the 16th minute, helping Steve Corica's side to take the lead until the final whistle. The result means Sydney FC are now on the 5th spot with 23 points after 16 fixtures. The defeat ended the 4 unbeaten streak of Wanderers, which dropped from the 3rd to the 4th place on the table. On to the 30th edition of Fujifilm Super Cup. J1 League champions Yokohama F. Marinos kicked off the 2023 season on a good start after they beat Ventspor at Kofu 2-1 on Saturday in Tokyo. The J1 League winners took the lead by Alba's goal in the half-hour mark at the Japan National Stadium before Nigerian striker Peter Yutaka made the equaliser for the Emperor's Cup's winners a minute before the break and awarded after a VAR check. Takuma Nishimura's goal in the 61st minute helped Kevin Muscat's side extend their advantage and seal their victory after Kofu's goal in the stoppage time by substitute Getulio was caught offside. It's the first time the Marinos win the tournament after being in the final 7 times in its history. Prostitution ring led by Indonesian mummy busted. The details right after this short break. prostitution ring masterminded by a foreigner has been busted in an enforcement operation conducted by the Immigration Department around Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. Its Director General, Datuk Sri Khairul Zaimi Daud, said a total of 36 individuals were nabbed after 3 entertainment centres and a transit house were raided in the 11:30 p.m. operation on Thursday. In a statement on Saturday, Datuk Sri Khairul Zaimi said the syndicate was led by an Indonesian woman called Mami, who acted as a madam who took care and managed the foreign women engaged in prostitution activities at several entertainment centres. He added that the syndicate managed to rake in an estimated profit of around 2,888,000 ringgit from the illicit activities. He also said those detained during the raids comprised 27 Indonesian women, 2 Vietnamese women, 4 Thai women, and a Bangladeshi customer, along with 2 local men working as caretakers. Some of them were found to possess social visit passes, student passes, or documents linked to the work recalibration program. Checks also revealed that the stamps for social visit passes were fake. All of the foreign nationals detained have been taken to the Semenyih Immigration Depot and will be investigated together with the 2 Malaysians for offences under the Immigration Act, the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act, and immigration regulations. The government has been urged to set up a Royal Commission of Inquiry, RCI, or a Special Investigation Tribunal to conduct a detailed and comprehensive investigation into the theft of rare earth elements, REE, in the Bukit Enggang Forest Reserve. This as the illegal mining activities, which went on for almost 2 years, had caused an enormous loss without any stern action from the state government and authorities, even though there were raids and arrests in September last year. According to Yayasan Jariah Malaysia Chairman Mahathir Abdul Hamid, who is also former January State Assemblyman, the probe into the REE theft in compartments 12, 13 and 14 at the Forest Reserve should be carried out without prejudice. He also said that the illegal mining was carried out without any environmental impact assessment EIA and may have caused hundreds of millions of ringgit in losses.
Kita yakin pencuri tak akan dapat masuk kalau tidak ada kerjasama daripada tuan rumah. Jadi kita mengesyakilah benda-benda macam ni ada berlaku. Walaupun kita tidak ada bukti, yang ini bukti kena siasat lah. Kena tubuhkan jawatan siasatan lah. Itu yang kita desak supaya tindakan ini diambil.
He said this to the media after a peaceful protest joined by several NGOs, including environmental activists and villagers, at the entrance of the Bukit Enggang REE mining site on Saturday. Mahathir also claimed that the solution that was taken, including issuing a compound of 630,000 ringgit in October last year, was absurd, and expressed concern over the alleged involvement of foreigners in the illegal REE exploration in the area, which he said should be given serious attention by authorities. On Tuesday, it was reported that 52 people, including 47 foreigners, were arrested, allegedly for illegal REE mining, and most of them did not have any valid travel documents. Meanwhile, environmental group Sahabat Alam Malaysia SAM advisor Muhammad Sobri Ramli claimed that various effects have been faced by residents in the surrounding areas, especially the pollution of the clean water source from the Bukit Enggang Forest Reserve. The biggest Latin American art fair, Zona Marco, opened its 19th edition this week in Mexico City, with galleries hailing from 29 different countries. In contrast to some other art fairs, this one was light on bombastic kookiness, metaverse hokum and blatant selfie bait. Let's take a look at the fair as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and have a great weekend.